today, economic freedom fighters supporters led by party leader Julius Malema are expected to picket at farms reportedly owned by businessman Johann Rupert in Stellenbosch outside Cape Town and in Mpumalanga. According to the party, the purpose of the march is to demand back the land which the party says was dispossessed by former colonial settlers. Our reporter Vanessa Poonah is on that story for us in Stellenbosch. So let's cross live to find out how things are progressing, where the people have started gathering. Vanessa, good morning.
Yes, a very warm good morning to you from a rather cold and wet Stellenbosch this morning. There are a few members of the economic freedom fighters that have already started gathering here just opposite the Kayamandi township in Stellenbosch. We understand that at 10 o'clock this morning, led by Julius Malema, the group will then make their way through the streets of Stellenbosch to hand over a memorandum to a representative from Remgro. Joining me now is the EFF national spokesperson, Snao Tambo. Snao, a very warm good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. So, yes, today's date, is it a commemoration? Is it a noting of the day that Jan van Riebeeck landed at the Cape? Why is the EFF participating or taking part or leading this march here in Stellenbosch today?
Look, the EFF is observing what must be known as Land Day, because it was in 1652 where one Jan van Riebeeck arrived on the shores of South Africa under the pretense of establishing a refreshment station, and then went on to annex the land of Africans, went on to annex the land of black people under the guise of colonially rationalized understanding of what land ownership means. So when he found African people not having encroached land, not having so-called used it for productive use or contributing to global commerce, which is under the instance of white people or the West, he made a conclusion that African people are not using land productively, and therefore that rationalizes him being able to steal it. And that was the basis of the land being stolen on that occasion. So the EFF is here today to confront one of the biggest benefactors of that colonial land theft by his ancestor. And we are here to confront Johann Rupert in particular, who owns a lot of land in Stellenbosch, controls the retail sector, controls the economic and political terrain of South Africa, and we're here to demand equitable redistribution of our land.
What do you expect Mr. Rupert to do and to reply to your memorandum? Are you hoping to speak to him? I understand that he may not be in South Africa at the moment, so what exactly is the content of your memorandum? What would you like him to do?
Look, whether he's here or not here, or responds to us or does not respond to us, is immaterial. We are here to put him on notice that we are aware of where you are located, we are aware of where your assets are located, which are built on the backs of black people. We are aware where our land is located. So we're here to put him on notice that we want our land back. Whether he's in South Africa or not is immaterial. We're here to say he must distribute our land equally, which is in his private holding. We're here to say he must disclose publicly all of the offshore accounts of foreign investments whose basis is drawn from the minerals of South Africa, from the land of South Africa, and from the labor of South Africa. We're here to say to him that we will no longer tolerate the remuneration of African people with alcohol for the work they are doing on our farms here in Stellenbosch. So whether he responds or any of his entities or representatives responds to that adequately or not, is not going to change the terrain or the outlook or the trajectory of the EFF in terms of confronting the biggest capitalists, which are white in South Africa. We are going to continue, and we're putting him on notice. It's a caution. We're being complimentary, and going forward, of course, we've exhausted the process of land expropriation without compensation in Parliament. We are now picketing at the lands of those who are controlled by Johann Rupert, and we're going to call on our people to take land by any means necessary going forward, because that is the founding manifesto of the EFF, that will exhaust all processes up until a point where our people's patience has worn thin, and we're going to confront capital head on ourselves.
Why is Mr. Johann Rupert being singled out?
Johann Rupert has stood as one of the biggest benefactors of the control of the economy in South Africa since apartheid times. He's one of the most richest ancestors, running Cartier, running Remgro, which runs a majority of retail stores in South Africa. If you wake up this morning, it is unavoidable that you will use a product which Johann Rupert has a stake in, whether it's a toothbrush, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's cereal, whether it's milk. He has gone a total control over our lives. In totality, he's controlling the South African economy. In totality, he's controlling the political terrain and the top two biggest leading political parties, which are the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance. So he is the oligarch of South Africa. So it's not only Russians who are wealthy and control political affairs in society. There are oligarchs in South Africa, there are oligarchs in America, and our oligarch here in South Africa is one Johann Rupert in collaboration with Christoph Wiese and the likes, the Stellenbosch mafia, which determines our lives from without and continues to make us subjects in our own land. So we're singling him out as one of the biggest benefactors who's continuing to make a chess game out of the affairs of African people.
Can you tell us, we understand that Mr. Julius Malema will be leading this march today. What are the plans for Mpumalanga?
In Mpumalanga, the Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Commissar Floyd Shivambu, will be leading a picket to Leopards Creek, one of the properties of Johann Rupert, where our people are overexploited, abused, and denigrated. So that will be led by the Deputy President of the EFF, submitting a similar memorandum, making the similar demands of the EFF, saying that we want our land back, we want our wealth, which is in offshore accounts and being funneled out through tax evasion measures by Johann Rupert into other countries, so that when the day comes when we take back our properties here, they will have financialized all of our assets and have taken them to other countries. So we're confronting him directly, and it's going to happen. It's going to be a consistent program of the EFF. It was unfortunate that in the year 2020, COVID-19 disrupted the EFF, because that was the year which we had resolved to confront the financial sector and the banks. But now we're back, the state of disaster is over, and you're going to see the EFF confront the real enemies of African people. So we're not going to shacks, we're not confronting vulnerable people. We're confronting those in power who have divided African society and have resulted in us living like animals in Africa and fighting with one another. So we are saying to African people, let's not fight one another. The wealth is in the hands of white people. Let's not fight over crumbs. Let's not fight to be security guards and kitchen girls and garden cleaners. Let's fight to have a dignified role in society where we are Africans and respected in the global community.
Now, Tambo, thank you very much for speaking to us. Of course, they're just giving an indication, really, in terms of the EFF's march here in Stellenbosch today and how this march will then progress from where we are currently, just opposite the Kayamandi township here and opposite Cluttersville. And of course, we understand that that memorandum will be handed over to a representative of Remgro just after 10 o'clock this morning. At the moment, I can tell you that a few supporters have started gathering here on this open field, and we expect that the march will kick off at 10 o'clock this morning.